episode 189 of the No Clue Podcast. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Tyler.
I'm Mike.
Right into it, man. Week 3, NFL.
Some good matchups.
I would say this weekend, pretty much every team played a team that's in like their competition, like their
Level.
tier.
Yeah.
Just about. And we'll start with the team that didn't play in their tier and happened to catch an L, and that's the Chiefs. Chiefs and Colts. Good old Sunday. Okay. This summer, a lot of people had concerns about the Chiefs. Slight change to their lineup, to their roster. Lost Tyreek Hill, of course. But nothing else really happened that was that glaring of a change. At least not to me. But
yeah. I mean, I can't I was busy watching the Bills game.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of stuck on Aaron Rodgers and Brady, so I missed this one. But I saw the highlights, and
Yeah.
I mean, they're missing the kicker.
Yeah, that was
huge. You miss an extra point. You fake a field goal at one point, which looked horrible.
Yeah, it looked like they only did it because they didn't have their best kicker.
Exactly.
Which is surprising because, like, your backup should not be bad. Like, it just
kicking is weird, dude. It's a whole weird dynamic that they have in football.
And Amendola is he young? No, right?
No idea.
I think he's been around. Not that long, but he's been around. So that was bad. And then not having confidence in him is even worse after the miss. So, and I understand it because this is definitely a game you should not lose to the Colts, who look absolutely terrible overall this season.
Yeah.
This looked like one of the games that people were worried that was coming. Mahomes led them in rushing yards, which is disgusting. He's not even like not even a decent mobile quarterback as far as like rushing goes. Everything, I mean, receiving was okay.
It was just a mess, dude. I mean, Kelsey dropped the touchdown at the end.
Yeah, that was bad.
I mean, that's shocking to me. We talked about the drop epidemic last week. It definitely carried over.
Yeah, it did.
And Kelsey was shocking to me.
I think Valdez-Scantling dropped one too, a big one.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I mean, it's early, obviously, and it's just one bad loss, but this is a team you should not lose to. It
really is it really is a bad loss.
It's a really bad loss.
That was a game you should have had.
Yeah, and only by 3, a close loss. Just yeah. I hope they pick it up and start really annihilating teams, because they really haven't gotten to that point where they look dominant again yet.
I mean, they made Arizona look pretty horrible.
Yeah, but Arizona,
I'm with you. It's they seem a little inconsistent without Tyreek. They do seem kind of hot and cold.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how they adjust to that.
Like, this Colts team, even though they're not bad, they're not like really, really bad. This is a 40-point game for the Chiefs 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Easily.
But I mean, you could flip it and look at the Colts. They kind of have a chance to turn it around now if they wrap off a couple wins.
They do. They absolutely do. Yeah. I haven't seen their schedule, but I wouldn't be surprised if they caught another win. Matt Ryan is definitely a momentum guy, season momentum player.
Yeah.
Not just in the games, but season. He strings together good wins. That's what he does best.
And they're going to the Colts are eventually going to start running the ball well.
Mm-hmm. They are. Yeah. And especially once Matt starts playing better. They got the Titans next week. They could beat the Titans. They could beat the Broncos, Jaguars, Titans again, Washington, Patriots.
See, that's all wins. That's all that potential wins to me.
Yeah, it is absolutely.
If you do what you just did against the Chiefs, you're fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Moving on. Let's go to, I would say, the game of the weekend. Bills and Dolphins.
Yeah. Messy game.
Not only the game of the weekend matchup wise, but probably the most exciting game of the weekend as well. Because you really had no idea what was going to happen next in this game.
I mean, I think the Miami probably proved in a single game more than I've seen any team prove in a single game this year.
Okay. Tell me more.
I wasn't sure their defense was that elite because, strapping Mac Jones, that doesn't impress me. Week 2, it was obviously Lamar Jackson just dominated them.
Yeah, and he can confuse you with, their defense could be great and he could still dominate. So it's
right. So I was curious, there's a lot of hype with Miami. Their week 2 win was questionable.
Yeah.
And they showed up as a roster here.
They did.
I mean, everybody made plays. I thought Tua made huge plays in the face of pressure. I thought they had a good game receiving wise, and Tyreek wasn't carrying it. Like they looked like they could win shootouts without Tyreek being the centerpiece.
Yeah. I mean, Tyreek makes everyone a better threat because you almost have to double him. You have to extend your defense way down the field because he can outrun everybody on your team. So he makes it easier for everybody. That's one thing that is so scary about just having someone like him on your team.
And the defense held up. Like, this was probably the most impressive defensive performance I've seen this year. To keep the Bills that contained when they controlled the ball like double the amount of clock that you did.
Yeah.
I mean, how many defenses would fall apart?
Most.
And they held up the entire game. I kept thinking, like, man, Buffalo keeps picking up first downs. Like, eventually Allen is just going to start just going down the field. And it's strip sack turnover. It's keep him in a 3-and-out once they get in the red zone, or stop them on a big 4th down. Like that's what kept Miami in the game the whole time.
Yeah. A lot of SWAT downs. I mean, it was just, and like you said, it was actually more than double the time of possession. It was 40 minutes and 40 seconds that Buffalo had.
That's insane.
And they had it for a whole quarter at one point.
How do you win that?
Yeah, I mean, Miami had it for 19 minutes and 20 seconds. So, I mean, less than half. I know they were there. I mean, sacks. Miami had more sacks. Buffalo had the big fumble, huge fumble.
Yeah.
Buffalo had more rushing yards, more passing yards, and still lost.
So, and what's weird? Like, this is the second week. Tua didn't really impress me. But at the same time, he's proving like he's not really that far behind keeping up with the elite quarterbacks.
Right.
Like that 3rd and 22. I mean, that's like, those are the kinds of throws that win you playoff games.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I thought there was several times when, like, you would think Buffalo was about to take momentum, and then he makes a great throw. He also doesn't put the ball in harm's way, which is obviously a great trait.
Right. Which eventually he may be able to take more risks because he got guys now that are just, he can go for it sometimes. But right now he does make the right play more often than not. Yeah. They look good, man. They look really, really good. I would have liked to see some more offense from the Dolphins. But we're talking about the Bills. We're talking about Von Miller. We're talking about a Super Bowl contender preseason. Last year, Super Bowl contender. I mean, we're talking about a good team, so I'm not expecting a whole lot. But I agree with you. Tua, I think, has proven he may be in that second tier, at the top of the second tier of the
Yeah.
pyramid.
Like there's like the rosters that are Super Bowl ready, it always comes down to like, is the quarterback, with Garoppolo, you see it, with other quarterbacks, you've seen it. Tua to me is looking like he's good enough to keep a Super Bowl roster playing well.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. Absolutely. Absolutely. What about the Bills? Was anything good for you from the Bills
I
or bad?
I would like some runs with an actual running back.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that was
the
Singletary had 9 carries and only had 13 yards.
I mean, you're controlling the clock, and not just the time of possession is insane. Josh Allen threw the ball 60 plus times, and
63.
how many times did he run? At least like 8.
Yeah, 8, yeah.
Exactly 8. So, good God, 70 plays. Your quarterback is carrying the team.
Yeah. To 447 yards.
And he played fairly well. I know he kind of choked at the end, but I'm not killing him for that because the Miami Heat was killing people all day.
Yeah, he played okay. Yeah. I mean, I'll say this because I'm the guy who criticizes him all the time. He found everybody on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I feel like every receiver on the roster got a target in this game. And most of them got a lot of receptions. Singletary got a lot of receptions. He's a running back mainly, though, right? McKenzie got a lot of receptions, big plays from McKenzie, huge plays.
Yeah. All
Davis
the tight ends
had some
made
huge
big plays.
They did, absolutely. Yeah. And Miami held Stephon Diggs to only 74 yards, which is pretty good for
Right.
his standards.
Right.
But he still led the team at targets. They didn't let him catch anything long. It looks like 7 receptions, 74 yards, 11 targets. So
I just like the Bills are good enough not to use Josh Allen like he's Lamar Jackson, where it's like we'll all hop in the backpack and Lamar, you got us.
yeah,
Like
they are.
the Bills have so many threats, and it's just Josh Allen making every single play.
Yeah.
I mean, I can make the case that throw at the end that he kind of hesitated on, he's exhausted.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
He's exhausted. Everybody's cramping up in the heat. I mean, there's the one point where there was literally a timeout. Nobody called it, and the announcers were like they were just confused. Like, we haven't really been told why the game stopped, but you could tell that the refs just stopped it because like both of the rosters are cramping up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, I thought Josh Allen looked fine. Nothing overly concerning.
Right.
But the 60 throws and being the whole running game, you gotta adjust that.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't like some of their choices for even the run plays that they did call. I didn't really like sometimes. But I agree. I think they didn't mix it up as well as they could have.
Yeah.
Definitely. And they really didn't get as many yards on their passes as it looked like in the game. Looking back on it though, all their passes were pretty short. And that's part of why they kept the ball for so long, because they were just moving up the field very slowly with as far as passing goes.
Yeah. But that's like, again, that's what I liked about Allen. Diggs was getting double teamed, and we're not just like rocketing the ball God knows where.
Right. Yep.
So I like to see that from him.
Yeah, me too, for sure. For sure. Real quick, the Dolphins set it down on the I want to say the 3 they were on at that time. Were they on the 3?
I think so.
That was the worst set of downs I've ever seen in a football game in my life.
That
was
was
terrible.
dude, and it was the most deserving butt punt I've ever seen.
It was.
Like when
Absolutely
it
was. It
happened,
was so bad.
I'm about to turn the game off because I'm like, all right, like you got it, it's over. You just run the clock. You maybe Buffalo gets it back, but like they still have to score. There's barely any time. You made them use timeouts.
They needed one first down. That's it. And it would have been over.
But at least run 3 plays that all use clock.
Yeah.
And they're throwing the ball at one point. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing?
And I mean, they had to use clock, but they still had to get at least 10 yards up the field. They were running inside runs from the goal line. Why?
Nobody sees that coming.
And one of them they lost yards on. It ended up on like the one. I'm like, what are you doing? And then obviously, like we said, what happened. But
again, I attribute that because the Bills fucked up at the end too with the clock management. So, but to me, again, the heat was killing these teams.
It was. And they were talking about the Dolphins because they've been in Miami the whole summer, so they should have.
And the Dolphins stadium is such a finesse. The way their fucking sideline is in the shade, the other sideline is like in the scorching sun.
Yeah,
I was so mad at that. I was like, bro, that's so unfair.
That's elite.
No, it's
elite.
Sure.
It's great
for sure.
Yeah.
No question.
But anyway, huge win for the Dolphins. Tough loss for the Bills, but the Bills can bounce back from it. It's just one loss. It's early.
A little bit more pressure on the Bills than the Chiefs, I think, because it was a division loss to the one team that could probably take the division from you.
Great point. Great point.
But like the Bills, to me, they're not gonna have a problem winning enough games to be a wild card spot. Worst case.
Yeah. The Chiefs and Bills are in a similar position. Very similar.
Yeah.
Ravens, Patriots don't have much to say, but Lamar is probably the MVP favorite right now. He looks ridiculous. Mac Jones started the game out looking good and ended up looking atrocious. So not much else to say about that.
He's out now for like at least several weeks, I think I saw.
Yeah.
They got Brian Hoyer backing him up, so they already don't look good. Their offense just looks lame.
Yeah. Bengals beat the Jets. I don't have anything to say. Titans beating the Raiders. Did you catch the highlights of this?
No.
Was surprised of how this game went. Derrick Henry looked great, and the Raiders stunk it up again. I mean, Mac Hollins was fantastic, 158 yards, but nobody else on the Raiders played good at all. Nobody. So,
I mean, where's the Devontae 18 targets, 13 catches, and like 150 yards game?
He had 10 targets, 5 catches, 36 yards.
What the fuck? Like, dude, Aaron Rodgers with Devontae as his only option was putting up those kinds of numbers.
Yeah.
What is this like? We're trying to be bad. Bro, their coach looks horrible.
Really bad. Really bad. Horrible, the Raiders should not be this bad.
Not at all. They're probably the worst, like the most disappointing team in the league so far.
Absolutely.
I mean, they can't, like, every quarterback is comfortable as hell playing them.
Yeah.
You can't rush the passer. Meanwhile, Derek Carr, like, even when he's protected, looks uncomfortable.
Yeah.
How does he have all those weapons and we're struggling to move the ball?
They had 8% third down efficiency.
Oh, that's sick.
8%.
That's just, you deserve to get blown the fuck out for that.
8% is crazy, dude. About the same time and possession, it was just, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Darren Waller only got 5 targets, and last year they were saying he was emerging as one of the best in the league. So I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Me neither, man.
Derek Carr, you got to get it together, man. 44 passes, 26 completions.
Where's the accuracy, Derek? You're top of the league in accuracy like every other year. What's going on?
And he got guys that get wide open. I mean, it's not like it's hard to find Waller or Adams. It's not.
If they don't win next week, man, it's going to be a long year for them.
Oh, it's the L. They said earlier only like 3 teams ever have come back, have made the playoffs after being down 0-3 in the beginning.
I think the Raiders were one of them last year, weren't they? Or no, did they start 3-0?
It wasn't 0-3 though.
I think it was 3-0 and then they lost 3.
It's been like 6 or 7 years since someone did it. So
yeah.
Another MVP favorite, Jalen Hurts, destroyed the Commanders. They took it to Carson Wentz.
They bullied his ass, to be honest. The highlights make Carson Wentz look atrocious, by the way.
He was atrocious. This had to feel really good for Hurts.
It's something about like showing the specific missed plays that they showed by Wentz.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, man. Like he sucks. He flat out sucks.
Terrible. He's terrible, man. He's terrible. And
he's out of there.
Like I said,
Taylor Heineke, let's get back out there, bro.
Hey, I haven't seen anything bad from Heineke yet since he's been out. When he does play, I only see good things. Just not starter caliber things.
All I see is horrible things from Wentz.
Exactly. This has to feel fantastic for Hurts. I mean, fantastic. I mean, they kind of screwed Hurts over his first year. Wentz was playing like garbage. And second
I blame
year
Doug
too,
Peterson for that.
Absolutely.
That was some bullshit. Fuck Doug Peterson for that.
100%. And Hurts just dominated. Him and Devontae Smith just absolutely dominated in this game. It was a dominant performance by the Eagles. Commanders.
Hurts is, unfortunately, Lamar has done it against better comp, but Hurts is the other MVP favorite to me.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Absolutely. It's been better comp, but you know, I guess
Hurts
it's in different ways.
Hurts is just dominating teams.
Yeah. He's bringing his team to dominate teams, and Lamar is single-handedly dominating teams.
Yeah, but the Eagles look so like they are running the ball better than anybody in the league to me.
They are.
And they got so many guys. The running back is really shifty. Obviously, Hurts is strong as hell. They look really good.
From what I've seen, they have the best mixed bag in the league. Like they mix it up better than everybody. Whether it's passing, whether it's running, their defense looks great.
I know.
Both parts of their defense looks great. The pass rushing and the secondary, everyone looks great. So, yeah, man, they look complete. Really, really, really complete.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm excited to see
3 weeks in, and they're the only team to me that looks flawless.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it is. So shout out to Jalen Hurts.
Speaking of, real quick, I didn't watch this game. I figured you didn't either. But speaking of Doug Peterson, the Jaguars probably had the most surprising win of the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. 38 points on the Chargers. Chargers act like they have good defense.
Yeah, they act like it. That's up for debate after this one.
Yeah.
But Herbert being hurt and playing through it, I don't know if I'd done that.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, especially against the Jaguars. I definitely wouldn't have, but it doesn't look good because he really didn't play good.
Right.
Also, like you can do that and play good and lose, but he played bad and when he did it, and their
We're
rushing was absolutely terrible in this game.
we're 1 month into the year, not even a month into the season. Like this is where if the quarterback is banged up, we give him a week or two.
Yeah, yeah,
I know he's talking about like being a warrior or whatever, but I just didn't need it if we're gonna get destroyed like this.
yeah. And I mean, the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence played pretty well, but the Jaguars really just ran him off the field. 140,
Yeah,
152 rushing yards.
but I
I
like
mean,
that. Shows
I like
shows
it
that the
too.
Jaguars, like, it's not a fluke win where the Chargers just kind of didn't show up.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, if you're a team and you need a win, if something is working, you don't stop doing what's working. I mean, James Robinson had 17 carries. Travis Etienne had 13 carries.
I like that.
Yeah, 30 carries between them. I mean, just do it. Keep going. And Trevor got 7 yards, 3 carries. So I like it. I like it. I mean, he still let the ball go, of course. Still a lot of good passes. But
Yeah, man, they're
good
gonna be a
win.
team. They're getting to the point where, like, if they win another game or two, you got to see what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. 151 rushing yards to 26 from the Chargers. 26 rushing yards. And your quarterback is hurt. Why are you only getting 26 rushing yards?
I know.
10, 12 running plays from them. And Herbert had one of them, so probably wasn't the play. So
I mean, your
it's not
quarterback
it's
has
not
got
enough.
injured ribs, and he still ran the ball. Like,
Yeah.
that's just in week 3.
Michelle had 5 carries, and your quarterback is hurt.
That's just bad coaching, to be honest.
It is. If you don't, I mean, you got to go straight to 10, 12 carries. I
I
mean,
know. If they shut it down, look, if we run the ball and they shut us down, all right. Like
yeah,
38-10 probably happens anyway.
yeah,
But you're like putting yourself in more harm's way. It's just bad loss for the Chargers.
really bad loss. Um, Rams Cardinals. I did not watch this game. I didn't see the highlights of this either. Did you see the highlights?
Yeah.
What'd you think? Good dub or
Yeah. I
bad
mean,
loss?
it's a good win for the Rams because they didn't play well and got the win, which, like, typical good team win.
Yeah,
But Arizona is just like, what is going on?
I have no idea, man.
Have you ever seen a
Fif-
team? They come out and they look horrible on their first drive.
From
Bro,
the jump,
what the fuck did you do in practice? Like,
is
they're messing up plays first drive.
58 passes.
Yeah, bro.
Kyler.
Kyler came down to, again, forget the playbook. I'm just gonna fucking make crazy shit happen. Like,
He's
bro,
good at that sometimes.
he's great at it. He kept him in the game with it.
Yeah,
But, like, it's almost like Arizona is trying to prove the rumor about Kyler in the offseason. Like, yo, our quarterback is, like, not in the lab enough, not
yeah,
studying enough.
yeah,
Because they have gotten worse offensively every week.
yeah. I've noticed. I've noticed.
And they just come out
Marquise Brown
incompetent. I mean, you think about it. They
went
come out
crazy.
against the Chiefs, get destroyed off rip. I mean, that game was
Yeah,
like 30-something to 3 until they started putting up garbage points.
yeah,
Then the Raiders, who are inept, it took you like a historic comeback.
yeah,
So you're really not much better than the 0-3 Raiders. And then the
yeah.
Rams, who don't even look that good, handle you easily.
And they didn't even get a single touchdown in this game. It was just all field goals. 12 points with field goals.
Yeah, bro. They like without Kyler being athletic, like if that was like Case Keenum out there, they wouldn't have scored.
Right.
It was just horrible.
Well, hopefully they get it together, man. Marquise Brown played really well. Ertz, the usual played good for them, but
and
we'll see what happens
with all those weapons, you don't get a touchdown.
I don't know how Marquise Brown gets 140 yards in the game and doesn't get a touchdown. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. That's a lot of yards. 140 for a wide receiver.
I know.
Yeah. That isn't, number one wide receiver, as they said, for the last 3 years. Moving on. The battle of the Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. The two GOATs go at it. This is one of the most boring games I've ever seen in my life. And it shouldn't have been. But it was just a terrible game, man. Another did the Bucks get a touchdown? Oh yeah, they did. They got one touchdown on this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really know what to say about this game.
I'm not worried about the Bucks because they're hurt as hell. And I mean,
Evans, they didn't have their best wide receiver in this game.
Right. And Brady is dealing with drama like off the field. So they're probably going to be battling up until the last month to even like be in the positioning for the playoffs.
Yeah.
That being said, the Saints aren't going to win a ton of games. The Panthers aren't going to win a ton of games. And who am I missing?
The Falcons.
That's, again, you're playing 3 teams that are going to be fighting for top 10 draft picks.
Right.
So to me, like, Tampa Bay has got like 2 to 3 months of struggling before we even need to hit a panic button for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think from what I've seen already, they're kind of overreacting to this with the Packers. Like, oh, the Packers are back on track. They're good. They just needed to warm up. I think it's a little bit of a reaction to beating the Bucks without Evans, but hey, they can do that if they want. I mean, they act like his biggest issue was the young guys, and he still kind of relied on the older guys in this. So
he's still, bro, one drop or one like bad route, and he stops throwing people the ball.
Yeah.
I like the guy. I can't think of his name, but one of their guys who caught the touchdown, the rookie for the Packers. He's starting to look much better.
I
think he
Lazard.
No, Lazard has been there for a minute.
Lazard's been there a while. Yeah.
I guess he didn't catch a touchdown, but he had a decent amount of yards.
Tanyan and Davis were the only other two with yards. Tanya's been there. I don't know how long Davis has been there. I don't know. Either way, I know who you're talking about.
The rookies are like coming along. I know it's slowly, but if Aaron's going to take 3 months to start trusting him. And the Packers, bro, they're not fooling me again, by the way. Like, I've watched the last 5 years. I've picked up some of these teams who the nucleus has been the same. Aaron Rodgers is never fooling me again, bro. He is the king of he's going to win the division games unless the Vikings are good. Then he'll get destroyed by them. He'll win the Bears games. He'll win the against the banged up teams who are missing half the roster.
Yeah.
And their record is probably going to be great at the end of the year. All for the Eagles to dismantle them in a half.
And Rodgers to like completely choke out of nowhere.
Yeah. Or like start off slow and then just not even try the rest of the game.
Yeah. And then he'll say, we didn't get a good start. So that,
Yeah.
that was it. Like,
Yeah.
I just gave up after that. Yeah.
I'm like, again, they're not
That's what he
fooling
does.
me, bro.
He
They're
definitely
not
does that.
good.
You're right. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. But yeah, boring game, decent win, but we're not reacting to it. Uh Jimmy G came back to lose to the Broncos. Broncos still don't look very good, but
Dude,
record nice start for record wise.
yeah, man, the
Uh
Broncos are like their defense is great, so like as it always is. So they're gonna be
yeah.
fine. Russ, like, why do we have to wait till the final drive to move around? Like, why are we
Yeah.
conserving energy in week 3? I don't understand that, but
He like turns it up like out of desperation still instead of just
yeah, man. And
doing what he
that was
does.
Seattle. It's Seattle all over again.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
have like he doesn't really throw to the wide receivers much, which is weird to me
Mm-hmm.
because when he does, they look good.
Right.
But he barely ever targets them. So I don't know, man. Like you said though, 2-1, obviously a lot of improving, and I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, I think so too. Any other games before we go to the Monday night game?
No, I think that's it.
Two of America's favorite teams squared off Monday night.
Yeah.
No Dak. Cooper Rush
Versus Danny Dimes.
versus Daniel Jones.
The quarterback battle.
Should not have been a quarterback battle, but it was. And Danny Dimes lost the battle. 20 for 37 for Danny Dimes. Cooper Rush was 21 for 31. Efficient, very efficient. Passer rating.
I'm liking Cooper Rush more and more.
You want to know what his pass rating was?
What?
98.2.
He made a lot of good throws. I mean, that seems a little extra. I didn't see him make that many good throws.
His QBR 68.5.
See, that sounds pretty solid. I like that score.
You want to hear Danny Dimes's? His pass rating was 57.9. His QBR was 41. 41.6.
I'm trying to. This was a good win for the Cowboys, man. I do want to give them some credit because
No, it was a good win because we were undefeated coming in here. Giants were 2-0 coming in, and
sure
stuff that was working for the Giants. The Cowboys.
Defense.
Yeah, the Cowboys were on it. They were on it.
And
I mean,
this to me, again, Cooper Rush looking this comfortable against probably one of the best defenses in the league.
mm-hmm.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
So I mean, they committed to running the ball. Finally, it took a 40-year-old Hall of Fame tackle for the Cowboys to be like, yo, let's actually like really commit. Let's try to really like pound the ball down the field.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy from the Eagles, Peters, he's 40. Mm-hmm. And the first play they put him in, literally first play, Pollard breaks off looking like he's Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. Pollard and Zeke were fantastic in this game.
They were great, man. Pollard tried to block this game. I'd never seen him block before.
Mm-hmm.
He looked good blocking. Zeke looked physical, picking up extra yards after people were trying to tackle him.
First time I've seen him do that in 3 years.
Bro, the Cowboys for the first time in a big game, their star players showed up.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look good for Dak that they played this well.
I know.
Maybe Dak should just coach. Maybe he should just coach.
The way Dak is getting hyped on the sideline, I was like, dude, you getting hyped for a guy making better throws than you, bro.
and everyone playing better without you.
Yeah, dude. Noah Brown looks like a borderline Pro Bowler with Cooper Rush.
Yeah, Brown and Lamb look like the top wide receiver duo in the league.
I know, and CeeDee Lamb, I mean, he had crazy drops to start with, and then he has like one of the best drives I've seen for a receiver at the end of the game.
Two of the best catches so far this season in the entire league.
I know, and again, Rush making really accurate, really smart throws.
Yeah.
Normally the back of end zone throws are lobs, or like, you're trying to like give him a chance to get behind. I've never seen a dart like that.
Great. He looked great, man. He looked really, really, really good.
But we get to the Giants.
Hey, Dak needs to watch his back, is all I'm saying. Not for Cooper Rush, but just in general, he needs to just
the pressure, bro. If they're 2-0 now, if by some miracle they're either undefeated or like 5-6-1 or whatever, there's a quarterback controversy flat out. I don't care how good Dak is, because he's really not.
Right.
We're sticking with the Super Bowl chances here.
Would you trade Dak for I'm trying to think who's that.
That's just this trading Dak in itself is so deep, because you pay him like you pay him a king's ransom.
Can't think of anyone right now, but
I can't see that. I really can't.
Because the worst part is I can't think of anyone, because every other quarterback is in like a good spot.
Yeah.
So it is kind of tough to think like, who would I even trade him for? Because everyone is in a decent like team they should be on, basically.
Yeah.
But
hey, if you think about it, like Dak really needs to be able to see this coming, because he did this with Romo.
Yeah.
Romo gets hurt. Dak comes in. Nobody expected Dak to be playing right away, and all of a sudden they're like 13-3. Granted, they choked against Rodgers, but again, they were like awesome that rookie year.
Yeah, they were. Now, I'm not saying it'll be Cooper Rush, but I could see them really exploring now. If they say, well, if Cooper Rush can do it and we get a first round quarterback, like, or second round quarterback, that could probably do everything Cooper Rush can do. So,
I mean,
maybe
Lamar
we should try it.
Jackson might be available.
It might be. But Ravens are dumb if they. Well, I guess it wouldn't be a trade, but they'd have to trade Dak away for money, and then.
Yeah.
That's actually what I was thinking at first, but then I was like, well, they wouldn't do that trade. That trade's nuts.
No. They wouldn't do the
might
trade.
win MVP this year, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, now to the other quarterback that needs to lose his job, Danny Dimes.
Let me ask you first. I really don't give a shit about Daniel Jones, because what about this game was any different from how he plays normally? Nothing.
The fact that Cooper Rush was outshining him, that's all. That's the only thing that was really, really bad. And the fact that they were in such a good position to win. Usually the Giants are getting destroyed, so Daniel Jones playing bad doesn't really change anything. If he had played just a little bit better in this game, Giants would have won easily. Just a little bit better. 5 more completions is all they needed, just 5. And it could have been a completely different game. But most of the time, Giants are in the position to win these kind of games, even against Cooper Rush.
I'm with you on the position point. Again, Daniel Jones, listen, Cooper Rush outplayed Joe Burrow last week. So, like, Cooper is decent enough. He outplayed Kirk Cousins last year. So I knew he was capable of outplaying a bum. Again, nothing about this game doubled. Like, I was already doubled down. Every Giants fan was doubled down. The New York Giants as an organization didn't pick up his 5th-year option, doubling down on the fact that he sucks.
He's the worst starting quarterback in the league. I've said that
That is
on the
not a hot
podcast,
take
and I'll
at
say it
all.
again.
At
It's
all.
not. It's not a hot take. If he's not the worst, he's bottom 3 for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, he is. He is.
My problem is again, Daniel Jones has been a fucking trash can the 4 years he's been there.
He is.
He's shown
4 years.
no development. The Giants, I thought we were a good organization. I didn't know we were offensively inept. I mean, you think about take Daniel Jones out of it for just like the perspective. Yeah. Has he had a decent offensive line once?
Nope.
Bro, DeMarcus Lawrence last night or Monday was looking like Lawrence Taylor against the linemen they took with the 7th overall pick.
Yep. He had 3 sacks.
Other team's
3
linemen
of the 5
looked like
sacks.
he was unstoppable.
Yeah.
Bro, the line you've never improved the offensive line.
Nope.
You've never you drafted a running back. You're not even committed to running the ball.
Nope.
I mean, Troy Aikman is talking about it to start the game. Like, well, you would think the Giants, run the ball down people's throats with Saquon, but they actually come out statistically and throw the ball with Daniel Jones a lot, letting him set the temp. I'm listening to like, what the fuck am I hearing? What am I hearing? And you got everybody's talking about how Saquon is back, yet only the fucking Giants like do nothing to help him take over.
Right.
What is going on? Not to mention, like, you're not committed to running the ball, yet you're praying like a fan that he breaks off runs for 80 yards.
Yeah.
Do the Titans just throw the ball to Henry randomly? Like, yo, Henry, how about you stiff arm 6 people and get us a touchdown? The Giants regularly ask Saquon Barkley to break 6+ tackles
to do miracles
to an elite run.
Yeah, they want Saquon to be a miracle man for sure.
Like, bro, again, your offensive line has sucked the entire time you've had a garbage quarterback. Like, you took a garbage quarterback with like the 6th pick. Nobody even cared about him. He would have been available like 3 rounds later. So
he went to Duke, right?
Yeah. Duke. He went to Duke. Who the fuck is looking for quarterbacks at Duke?
Nobody.
The New York Football Giants. That's who.
Yeah.
And forget the fucking offensive line point, because I'm not even mad at Daniel Jones on Monday. He was getting beat to hell all day.
He was.
Tom Brady would have probably not even made it through the game with that offensive line. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, he had a lot of time sometimes and still got sacks. Sometimes.
He sucks. I'm with you completely.
I'm saying a better quarterback would have let the ball go before Daniel Jones. That's all I'm saying.
Bro, you don't deserve.
I'm gonna blame always all on the line.
But you really don't deserve a good quarterback if you took a chance on a guy and never even really gave him a chance.
Yeah.
And again, he sucks so bad.
I could give you explanations. I can't.
I'm with you. He sucks so bad, even beyond the Giants' problems. Like, he looks awful.
Yeah.
Like, when Trubisky had a good structure, he looked solid.
Mm-hmm.
Baker, when he had a good structure, looked solid. Jones just looks awful regardless.
Yeah, and then, you got guys who are really good that have terrible structures that still don't look terrible. Like, right. Yeah, like Danny Dimes looks bad all the time.
I mean, Jalen Hurts looked pretty good even when his own team didn't believe in him.
Most of the guys on his team didn't want him on the team, and he still looks good. Yeah,
right. But beyond the line, you're talking about the 5 extra completions. Bro, you sign a guy off the Lions I'd never heard of for $70 million. He looks like a fucking bum.
It's terrible.
I never saw him on the Lions because I'm not looking out for Lions games. So I had no clue. I don't even if it was, I think it was Stafford at that point.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I figured you do your due diligence. You see a receiver, you just drafted a questionable quarterback, but you want to help him, get him a target that he can depend on. 4 years, 70 million. The guy looks like a fucking scrub.
I don't know. I mean, and Galladay, you're talking about Galladay, right?
Yes.
He had big years for the Lions, but he was all they had. So, I mean, it was like, if I'm not throwing it to anybody, you're the only guy I'm throwing it to, of course you're going to have a good year. But as soon as Stafford left, I mean, we got him right when Stafford left, I think, right? Last year we got him.
I think so.
I mean, yeah, Danny Dimes. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I mean, Galladay's dropping everything now. You lost Shepard for probably 2 years. You have no receivers. So when Daniel Jones made like 4 good throws that were dropped, that were going to be big yards, that were going to be potential field goals, at least 6 points. At least 6 points you could have been positioned for that you didn't get because of drops.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Remember we argued with Carson Wentz that year on Philly when he was god-awful. And I defended him for like the first month or two because I'm like, dude, the guys are dropping touchdowns left and right. He's getting beat up all day, every game. Like, no quarterback would look good in this.
Right.
Now, granted, again, once Philly started cleaning things up, Wentz still looked horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, the Giants have never cleaned things up with Daniel Jones there. Not one time.
They haven't. No. They haven't.
That shit to me, like, I never want to see the Giants on prime time again. They're offensively inept. Their drafting is inept. Their free agent signing is inept. Their offensive coaching is inept. They deserve the worst starting quarterback in the league, which is what they probably have.
I agree with it all, man. It sucks because I want them to succeed, but I don't have a emotion towards them. Like, I'm with you. I don't think they deserve to succeed. They're not trying to succeed, so I can't hope for them to succeed any more than they do. That's just it's not even being a good fan at that point.
Like, Daniel Jones just had 3 coaches.
Has he? At least 2. Yeah, I guess 3 maybe.
How did you? I thought the Giants keep coaches. By the way, they've had like 2 and outs. They've had 2 and outs, like 3 coaches straight.
Yeah.
Maybe stop hiring random ass special teams coordinators.
Right. Yeah, man. The Giants. I mean, this game is a pivotal game for their failures. We'll see what they do, though. I mean, the record is there with some of the best teams.
They're going to be in a lot of games.
Hopefully.
That's where like the Daniel Jones hatred, I think, is going to skyrocket, and that's another reason I hate the Giants, because it's like they're hearing that, oh, Daniel Jones sucks. We'll just kind of throw away a year and let him take the fall for the whole thing because we're not even trying to make a competent offense.
I hope they throw away the year so they get another quarterback.
Yeah.
But
like, if you're not going to get him protection, if he's not Josh Allen, he's going to suck too.
That's true. Yeah.
Bro, if Tua was on the Giants, if Tua was on the Giants, we'd be questioning if he'll ever play in the league again.
I don't know about that.
He'd be out for the year already.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, he's injury prone too. So you might be right, yeah. Might be right. All right, looking forward to this weekend. We have Dolphins Bengals on Thursday tomorrow.
Thank God, bro. This past week, man, the primetime games are a hard 0-3. We didn't even talk about the Thursday game because there's nothing to talk about. Who cares?
There's nothing to talk about. I hope there's something to talk about in this game. I'll watch it because I do like watching the Dolphins. Sunday, we have Bills Ravens, great game. We have
That's gonna be fire. Is that 1:00?
Yeah,
That's fire.
Eagles Jags at 1.
I'm probably gonna be flipping between those because I do want to see the Jaguars. Like this, the Bengals and the Jaguars are in positions to really like elevate themselves after wins.
Yeah. Chiefs and Bucks at 8:20.
I mean, Tampa Bay. I'd be impressed if Tampa Bay keeps up.
Mahomes and Brady's always fun to watch. Either way,
Yeah,
you're gonna see something classic.
Yeah, that's like such a W matchup versus Steelers Browns.
Yeah,
I mean, we knew in June that Deshaun wasn't going to be playing.
Yeah. Rams and 49ers Monday night game. It's not bad. Rest of these games, Raiders, Broncos, Packers, Patriots, Panthers, Cardinals. Stop me when you hear a good game. Steelers, Jets, Giants, Bears, Colts, Titans, Texans, Chargers, Lions, Seahawks, Cowboys, Commanders, Falcons, Browns, Saints, Vikings. That one might be the best out of all the other ones I said.
That's a good match. There was one other one I was going to stop. That was just a good matchup. Oh, Bears and who was it?
Giants.
That's a good matchup.
We'll see.
Another quarterback to make Daniel Jones look worse.
Yeah. Hey, he hasn't looked great either.
He's a guy though. He got a signature win though in week 1. His structure is horrible. No receivers, offensive line doesn't protect him at all. And he got a signature win like himself.
That's true.
I haven't seen Daniel Jones do that. I'm just saying.
And and they beat the Texans. Yeah. They barely beat the Texans though. We'll see. We'll see about that. I'm not gonna watch that game. I can't watch it.
Oh no.
For like 2 weeks.
I'm good on Giants for the year. Who cares? Oh, the New York might win 10 games. Who cares? Are they touching a single playoff team in the NFC?
No, they'll get absolutely blasted in the playoffs.
By every playoff team possible.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why the Giants the Bears game is good because that's their contemporaries.
It is, yeah. You're right. That's their peer group
Exactly.
For sure. All right. Done with NFL for now. So let's move on. NBA.
I mean, you heard it, obviously, game 4 and game 6, but you're wearing it now. Just how's it feel to have it on with the win and moving on to the next round?
I've embraced it. I'm embracing it right now.
Brian, can you just explain how active has the front office been for Phoenix over the last 30 days or so?
Active and very active within this last week. They are conducting business. They're in trade negotiations right now. A lot of them are centered around Jay Crowder.
There's not a person on my team in 16 years that has consistently beat me to the ball every play. That ain't got nothing to do with talent. That's just got everything to do with effort.
I guarantee you, whatever it is you want to do in life, you'll be able to do. You will be able to accomplish whatever you want to academically, financially, relationally, whatever.
Burn out. And then once you find out what you want, spend the rest of your natural life waking up and going after it.
15 straight years. 12 Pro Bowls later. If you want numbers. I done saw all of it. And the only thing that's kept me around is my effort. wasn't the number one recruit. I wasn't the number one linebacker. I wasn't even an immediate guy. All I ever knew was effort will get me seen on tape. Effort will get me noticed to get to the league. Effort would one day take care of my mom.
And it ain't about wins and losses, it's about moments. It's about understanding I'm gonna make the play or I'm gonna watch the play be made.
We have a very strange trade, I shouldn't say rumor, but trade talks taking place for Jay Crowder out of Phoenix Suns. We're both Jay Crowder fans. We think he can
Strange is a good
contribute
word
to
for
any
it.
team. It is very strange because he is like releasing hype videos for him leaving the Suns, which I've never seen someone release hype videos for leaving before you leave the team. Like I've seen it. I'm coming to a new team. Yo, Detroit, here I am. What's up? Let's do this. Let's ride, that kind of stuff. But my contract is still with the Suns, and I'm already talking about like proving the Suns wrong in a hype video, which is kind of wild. I don't know what to say.
I don't want to deep dive it now because it's obviously really early. But
Yeah.
you and I talked about a trade or like the issue in the league concerning these kinds of situations. And we're going to come back to it as the year progresses with some of the situations playing out.
Yeah.
But like you said, a hype video before you're off the team.
Never seen it before in my life.
And it's the reports are like, they told him that he was going to have a lesser role because they have young up and coming wings who are better, like who are obviously better than him, who obviously have a much higher ceiling than him.
Yeah.
And he's really he's not a full-time starter.
Depends on the team. Depends on the team.
He's in certain situations he's a good starter. But he's not like you said, depends on the team. He's not showing up on every roster like part of the top 5.
Right. No, he's not at all.
And
not at all.
Like the hype video thing is weird. The fact that he thinks he's like this OD significant, like Andre Iguodala level championship piece
with no championships,
with no titles, and bro, why are all the teams you supposedly prefer teams you already played for?
No, those were teams. I'm not sure if those were teams that he prefers or are supposedly interested
in him.
Yeah. But yeah, they are teams he already played for. Yeah, Dallas, Memphis, Boston.
Literally every single one.
And like in that order too. Like, yeah, it is kind of crazy.
And neither of those teams are really like they're not pressed to need him.
No, I mean,
He'd
Finney
help
Smith
all
does
them.
what he does already on Dallas.
Right. I mean,
does everything that he does.
Grant Williams does what he does in Boston. Not to the same level, but it's similar production.
But
and
their best players do what he does already.
Miami, I'm sure, found a guy in fucking God knows where on a G League team or somebody who we've never heard of who's going to come in and play good minutes, defend, hit shots.
I mean, Max, what's his last name again? Strus. Yeah, I think Crowder's better than Strus, but for what Strus does for the team, they got him already.
Right.
I don't think they would start Crowder over Strus right now.
Yeah, bro.
I don't think
Strus,
so.
I mean, if he doesn't step on the line in that crazy baseline shot, Miami might be a finals team.
Yeah.
So all these teams are fine without him. It's just a weird, like you said, situation.
Yeah, and if he's looking to start, none of the teams that we're talking about are like promised starter spots for him. I could see
He's
him
not a promised
starting
starter on
on
any contender.
I could see him being a starter on Memphis, but Memphis has done weird things with their starters the last few years. I don't even know what they look for in their starters anymore. Like Adams, like just stopped playing altogether in the playoffs last season,
Yeah.
and that was strange. Someone else was weird in the line. Who started at the power forward for them in the playoffs?
Jackson, Jaron.
No, when Jaren Jackson starting at center.
That's right. When Adams got hurt or had
And then
COVID or something.
And then Adams got back healthy and just never got back in the lineup. I don't remember who else. It was Brooks. It was Ja. It was.
Was this
Spain.
Zaire? Was it Zaire?
He might have started sometimes. Well, my point is, Crowder going there, he might end up starting because they do weird stuff with their starters anyway. So that wouldn't surprise me. But the rest of them, I don't see it. And Phoenix is starting to commit to Torrey Craig, even though he's been traded around a few times. But they look like they like Torrey Craig. Yeah, I do too.
He played well in their finals run. He was there and played very well.
Yeah, yeah. And I think did he get traded right after that and then brought back? Something like that. Something weird like that. They picked up Josh Okogie from
Paul George, I remember.
He was low key.
Torrey Craig.
They picked up Josh Okogie from the Timberwolves. They got Frank Jackson that used to be on the Pelicans. I think he was just in Detroit. But he's another wing that attacks. They picked up TLC, Luwawu Cabarro. They picked up Damian Lee from the Warriors. He's a champion. He has more championships than Jay Crowder. So they got a lot of wings.
And I talked about this a lot with them, man. Their wing production was like some of the best in the league. Their wing rotation, the roles their wings had on both ends was very simple, very effective. And this to me is like knowing what you're good at and making sure you're still good at it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Phoenix organizationally has made great moves again since James Jones got there.
They have, and they it seems like every move they do looks towards the future. I think they look towards the future, and if we can win now, let's do it. But if we can't, then that's fine too. Like that.
Yeah.
I don't ever think they think about what is going to do for them winning at the moment. I think they just think, okay, well, how can we build the best team for the next 5 years, 10 years? And that's what they do. Yeah. So I'm not surprised that he's going to get moved, but the circumstances around it is a little bit weird. Yeah.
And then on top of that, Phoenix has the elephant in the room that apparently hasn't been addressed.
DeAndre Ayton.
I mean, it's just weird that they're putting such a young guy in such an awkward position to have to come in and in the media day, like clearly be miserable that he's there. You know, anybody who answers and says, I guess, doesn't mean what the fuck they just said.
You're right. And especially, you know, when the answer kind of is about them making however many million they make a year.
Right.
And he really doesn't care, because even if I'm making 150 million in my contract, I am going to at least pretend like I'm happy to be there.
100%.
So, you know, he really doesn't care.
And my initial thought was like, yo, that's fucked up. Like, you know, show some maturity, you know, show some like whatever, it happened. I'm moving on, because you're going to be here for probably some years.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you hear more about the circumstance of how the summer played out, it was kind of like the Ben Simmons shit initially. Like, you know, the team kind of threw him under the bus and then basically just let him be immature and nobody helped him out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like you set him up for failure, and now he's coming back. He obviously didn't want to come back, and there's been no attempt to figure things out. There's been no attempt to reconcile.
Yeah. Let me say what you're addressing. Reports are that, not just reports, he said this, that he hasn't spoken to Monty Williams. DeAndre Ayton hasn't spoken to Monty Williams since Game 7. Since the playoff game that they lost last year.
Is that not season. Like, to me, it's a parallel of Doc and Ben Simmons.
Yeah, very, very similar, because Monty did kind of allude to the idea that Ayton quit on them. Which, I mean, he knows more than we do because he talked to him in the game, but it didn't look like anybody was all that in on the game.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Jay Crowder looked like he quit on them too.
Yeah. Everyone I watched in that game looked like they quit for the season.
Except the young Cam Johnson and Bridges were trying.
Yeah, they were trying, yeah. But they're not on ball guys.
You know, the rotation guys on the off the bench are trying to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the leadership, the core of the team, who I need to fucking lock in, nowhere to be found. And then they spent the summer. I guarantee you this CP spent the summer in the fucking lab.
Yeah.
Devin Booker, same thing. We can't get on the phone.
That's the big problem. When you have two guys like that, Booker, who is trying to establish himself as a leader, who for some reason a lot of media has already painted him as a leader before he's done anything of leadership quality. CP, who has been a leader for a long time, but has also had off the court leadership questions, I would say. Yes. Questionable off the court leadership. I would think that if all guys, they say, yo, man, hey, what do? They go golf. Let's go golf. Bring coach out, bring the guys out, and let's just have a conversation. They're the nucleus. I think that the uncertainty if they were going to get Ayton back or keep Ayton this summer might play a little bit into this. But they got Ayton. They signed Ayton a long time ago. At this point.
Know.
I'm looking up when exactly it was that he signed.
I mean, first of all, if I'm not asking you to spend the offseason together, but if my best guards or my star backcourt doesn't get at least a few days of work in with my best big man, what are we doing?
July 14th, he signed. Max offer sheet.
A long fucking time ago.
Yeah, that was when he signed the Pacers one, and the Suns instantly matched the same day.
That's right. So, I remember that.
And by the 19th, it was official that he was going to be back with the with the Suns. That was July 19th. So it's been 3 months almost. So like, I don't. It's plenty of time to talk to guys, tell them what's up. Did Ayton play in the FIBA for
I
the
didn't
Caribbean?
see him. I'm
Bahamas, I
not
mean.
sure.
I know
Well,
Buddy.
FIBA is just Europe, isn't it?
I mean, I'm sorry, not FIBA. The championships. They had the championships this summer.
I didn't see
But
it.
I think that might have still been before he got signed.
My thing is,
I think
either
so.
way, man, either way, like, bro, the Lakers, who were atrocious last year, got on the phone. Like, I mean, LeBron literally ignored the fuck out of Russ in the Summer League game. And they still got on the phone to talk about, figuring things out for the season.
Yeah.
Nobody's asking these guys to be friends, but you're going to be playing all these games like, yo, your chemistry has to be there.
Yeah. It was the FIBA
part
qualifiers.
of why
He
Phoenix
was
was
on
so good.
Absolutely. Absolutely, you're right.
Ayton is such a massive piece to their success that, if we're having problems like this already and they're not addressed quick, it's going to be a long year.
To me, in the finals run, he was the biggest piece for them because he's what actually separated them in the West, in my opinion. Because no one had anything for him. Every team in the West has a good backcourt, especially at that time. I mean, we're talking, the year before last, Clay wasn't back yet, but they had, we had Portland, LA, both LAs, Denver, Utah. I mean, every team has good backcourt, so that wasn't what made it great.
You remember they 4-zipped Denver, and CP was getting like all the credit.
Yeah.
All the credit. Meanwhile, he's going toe to toe with the best, probably the best big man in the league and holding his own.
Yeah.
And then he gets in the next round and he's got the advantage of size against the Clippers and he dominates them the whole series.
Yep.
Which I've seen bigs that are supposed to dominate them not.
And the way he ran the floor, he was agile, athletic, and had post moves that there's no one in the West really had anything to deal with. Yep. Anthony Davis was the only one that they thought was going to have a chance, and he didn't have a chance.
Yep.
So, they had a bunch of injuries, but he didn't have a chance because he had to be 100%, 110% to deal with 8.
Exactly.
So, yeah, man, he's a big piece, and for those guys to blatantly ignore it or at least not take it serious enough to reach out to him, and maybe they did, and he didn't answer. That's possible.
Could be.
I would be surprised the way he answered that. I would be surprised. I would think someone would say, "Yeah, man, those guys reached out to me, but I was busy. I was playing for Team Bahamas. We didn't really get to connect." And that's a different answer.
I know. And I don't think people would have had a problem with it.
No, they wouldn't.
And there's no way he said, like the way he explained the Monty not talking to him. There's no way Monty reaches out, he ignores that, and then said this.
Right.
You're
100%. Yeah.
Unless he's just like a blatant liar, in which case, it's just weird at that point. But bro, Monty Williams, if anything, owes him a fucking apology.
I agree.
A lot of bigs would have quit if they got put on a fucking island with Luka Doncic for a whole quarter.
Yeah.
You set him up for failure and then just like, yeah, bro, he's immature. Really?
Yeah, you got me running around chasing an MVP candidate guard all night and then wonder why I don't want to go back out on the court. Why would I? I'm getting exposed.
You're throwing me out there to get cooked, bro.
Right, I'm in foul trouble. There's nothing I can do.
Right. So it's weird to me, man. And I'm just curious how they respond. I don't have a lot of faith in it.
I don't either. And I've been on this podcast questioning everybody on that team was leadership at one point. Everybody. I've questioned Monty's last season. I've questioned CP's his old career. I've questioned Booker's the last 2 seasons. And now we're seeing like they can't even connect with their best player.
I mean,
and make it work with the coach. We knew the coach wasn't going anywhere. Of all the factors, all the maybes or uncertainties, we knew for a fact Monty wasn't leaving the team. So of all the connections they could have easily made is that one. And like I said, Ayton's been there since July 19th. He was coming back to the Suns. Yeah, he did play for the Bahamas in the qualifier, the America's Cup qualifiers. That's what I was talking about. But he lost. That was over in the beginning of August. He had plenty of time to just say something. And hey, when he signs a deal, hey man, glad to have you back. Let's work it out. Just a text. He didn't send a text.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how fucking awkward. Forget the media day. How awkward was that practice?
I know.
If I'm him, bro, I would have pulled a Ben Simmons. I would have walked in there with my phone. That wasn't a phone. It was a jersey. Okay. I would have walked in there with my phone jersey. I would have walked in there with like just chilling, not warming up for real, telling Monty, yo, I don't want to do this bum ass defensive drill. Like, bro, you threw me under the bus, then doubled down on it after the game, and you're not going to speak to me?
Yeah.
That's wild as hell. Really.
It is.
I really didn't expect this from Monty Williams, of all people.
I'll be honest, I didn't either, even though I have criticized him in the past. I didn't expect this. No way.
Not this.
Especially a $133 million man. You paying this dude $130 million.
Clearly the organization thinks he's worth, like, he's a meaningful piece, which he is.
He is, yeah.
Take your pride out of it. Like, again, like you said, maybe Ayton quit on the team. We don't know. But he wasn't the fucking only one.
Right, he was not the only one. Nope.
Ain't no way I got a Hall of Fame point guard and I'm blaming my young up-and-coming center. You think if Jimmy Butler and Bam quit on Miami, you think everybody would be like, yo, Bam, what the fuck, bro? What's going on here? Or if Kyle Lowry and Bam quit, everybody would be like, yo, Bam, that's really immature.
Nope.
Nah, bro. Lowry, you've been in the league a decade and a half.
Yeah. You're the one on the team with the championship. It has been to the finals before. And it's really bad. It's really bad. And just saying I haven't spoken to him is just nuts. And like I said, I will say I don't know the rules for restricted free agents. I don't know if that's tampering now for the coach to speak to him.
You already covered the timeline. We're good on that.
Yeah. I'm just saying, for those still questioning that part, I don't know either. But July 19th is plenty of time. Plenty of time. So, hey, it is what it is. We'll see how it works. I don't be surprised if the Miles Turner trade still happens. Just because they didn't want to lose him for nothing doesn't mean they didn't want to still trade him. I mean, it still is possible.
That would be interesting. I'm curious to see what Indiana includes in that, which I'm assuming they might include something.
I wouldn't. If they traded Buddy Hield, I don't know why they would do that.
Buddy would be extra. I probably somebody, I don't know their rotation guys that well, but somebody from the back of the rotation.
So, because, dude, imagine you'd just be setting the West up to fail. Because I know Buddy doesn't get like a whole lot of love, but Buddy with CP would just be
buckets.
It would be crazy. Yeah.
I mean,
having Buddy and Booker on both sides of the court would just be insane.
Yeah, Buddy's too OP. I'd say like a Justin Holiday would just make that wing rotation even more crazy.
Yeah.
Because now, and they like to do that, like the star backcourt, 2 wings, and Ayton.
Mm-hmm.
So the options there are just, you just stay flexible.
Yeah. And they have, I mean, they have a lot of flexibility with what they have with Sarich is going to be back healthy. Torrey Craig is one of those guys. He doesn't shoot that well, but he can spread the floor. You
I
can't
forgot
leave him
about
open all
Sarge,
night.
man. I like him.
Yeah, Sarge is tough. I mean, you definitely can't leave him open if they spread the floor. So, and then, I mean, Miles Turner if they got Miles Turner, he's a good shooter. Can't leave him open either. Not all night. So
Yeah.
we
So
will
speaking
see.
speaking of bad situations,
What?
let's segue into the other big topic we have to cover. What a fucking disaster.
A complete disaster in Boston. We have not mentioned this yet. It seems like it's been a long time, but it hasn't. It's only been a week. It's been so much. Just so much. I will say one thing I don't like about both of these situations is how close they are to training camp. Like Missoula is taking over the coach like 3 days before training camp starts, which he might have known longer than us, but just even the thought of that is just kind of wild to me. Like I was thinking I was gonna come in washing jerseys, and now I'm the coach. You know what I mean? Obviously,
Yeah.
he does more than. Obviously, he has a bigger job, but I'm saying I had this one role, and then all of a sudden, a week before training camp, now I have a completely different role, the role on the team. I don't like that, especially if whatever the situation was, they had all this information for months back. So, anyway, Ime Udoka has been suspended for the year. Everyone knows this already. I mean, if you have any social media, you know this already. What are your thoughts on the Celtics this year?
You
What does
know,
it mean?
first on the situation, it's been like a minute. Like you said, it's happened a little while now. We kind of have more details about it. Yeah. I still don't understand why you don't just fire him. Like, and as we're getting more details, it's looking more and more like he clearly violated, certain standards you have as an organization.
Yeah.
Like, why take this angle of like getting out ahead of it, but not being completely truthful?
Yeah.
To create even more drama. And then like you have to go through a deciding process of a suspension that turns out to be for an insane amount of time, in where you now create a situation, even if this was something minor, there's really no sensible scenario where you bring him back.
I completely agree. Yeah. It just bringing him back would do what for the team?
That's what I'm saying.
Like it really is like no point in bringing him back if it's going to be like this. Do what for the organization? If no one else, thing is, if nothing else changes in the organization, what would change from what Udoka did?
My point exactly. So I just, as time is going on, I still don't understand. Like this was Boston, like planned this out. They obviously made the decisions to expose the information when they did. And it just looks dumb.
It looks dumb. And like you said, with more information, even more rumors, it looks dumber and dumber and dumber and more heinous, more blatant, that the Celtics are just, at this point, they're really making it worse for Udoka. And I don't know if that's on purpose or not. But at this point, the more you tell about it, the less opportunities he's going to get. Now, a year from now, I'll have forgotten like how good of a coach he was. At this point,
bro, his career is done.
Is this?
His career is done because you destroyed him in the court of public opinion.
Exactly. So they easily could have said, "Hey, difference of opinion, violation of some rules. Udoka's fired. We're moving on with Joe Mazzulla, and that's it." And then that's the end of the story. We're not taking any questions, and let's just move on. And nobody would care. We'd say, man, he got fired. That sucks. Like, what could he have done? We'd still speculate, but to the point of like now we don't even know if he'll ever coach basketball again.
Like you said, either go like full measure one way or full measure the other way. Either expose him and say, yo, like what he did was unacceptable. His behavior was complete, like not up to our standards in any way. He's done.
Yeah.
Everybody would have been like, yo, holy shit. Like that's shocking. But, we get it. We get why Boston is making the decision they're making.
Right.
To me, I guess the more I think about it, I'm like, if anything, no matter how heinous his behavior was, you didn't want to fire him because maybe you do think like he was a really key piece of our championship run. And even though like this is completely unacceptable, like we don't want to throw away that momentum completely.
Yeah.
But then you still throw it away completely.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, and trying not to use any speculation that I've heard already when I say this, but it shows that there's a difference between what the front office wants it done with him and what the people who care about them winning basketball games wants done with him.
It shows a disconnect.
Yeah, it does.
Because this process is just weird. Like everything about it is weird.
Because to your point, either we go all in on saying, hey, this is about basketball. As far as basketball concerned, we can't fire him. Or you go all in and saying, hey, front office wise, this is a bad look for the Celtics. He has to get fired. So it's like one or the other, because leaving him out for a full season does nothing positive for you on the basketball court.
It's basically
it does nothing
firing
positive
him.
for you. It does nothing positive for you at all, especially if you're going to say, and then after that, we'll see what happens after that. Either to say, hey, he's suspended until indefinitely and likely to be fired or whatever.
See, I like that. I think not putting a timeline on the suspension would have made it more like, we'd speculate that he'll be back for the season at some point. And then as the rumors fly out, in a month, we'll probably know even more about the situation.
Yeah.
And now we're really at the point where now Boston gets a chance to see that, either the Celtics fans are sick of him or they maybe don't care, whatever the case may be, you put yourself in a position to react accordingly.
Yeah.
Rather than jump out in front of it, but take a half measure, not really be decisive. Like you said, there's a disconnect with the just how the organization sees the situation. And now you have a fucking mess.
Because of speculation, what is happening is it's high in the organization of what has to do with the issue. So if that's true, then their decision probably won't be in connection with a basketball decision because they aren't the basketball. They're not basketball operations. They're just Celtics operations. So like I said, if it is that kind of disconnect, it's obvious. So I don't know, man.
It's just, again, it's such a strange situation because initially Boston like made it clear that he was going to be suspended for a significant time, but then also try to make it clear that it was for something like specifically a consensual relationship, which, which again is not a blatant lie, but you are lying about the circumstance of your issues. To just say we're suspending a guy for a year for a consensual relationship with one of our other employees, which is against the rules, a year for that?
Right.
A year for that. Like, what the hell? That doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't.
So again, it's just Boston looks so bad. And they were in a position to get out in front of it.
They were.
They took the worst angle, like in football when the cornerback has to take an angle to defend a route. And he takes the most horrible, or he just falls flat on his face. That's what Boston did. They tripped. They had to take a good angle. They just tripped over their feet, and Cooper Kupp touchdown.
Yep. It is a disaster. It's the biggest disaster probably I've seen as far as the coaching goes in a long time.
And it's reflected by what the players are saying.
Which is what?
I mean, Marcus Smart looked miserable in media day when they asked him about it. Like, yo, we're shocked. We're just kind of like confused. We don't really like what is going on for your players to even be in that situation?
It makes you question how much they even know, which is a problem in itself. I guess they don't need to know everything, but they need to know more than how they act like they know, at least.
No,
especially for them to have quote unquote known things.
Yeah, bro. And if you're putting out info to the public, Tatum literally said he found out the same way everybody did on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
That is just horrible organizational management.
Absolutely.
That should never happen. Forget your star player. That shouldn't even happen with your bench players.
Right. We will keep an eye on this, of course. Everyone else will as well. But I'm curious to see it. So back to basketball, how do you think it affects the Celtics as a team?
I think it's gonna. Again, I don't think it causes major issues for them winning games because the core is the same. They've played together a long time. They're players. I trust the skill set. I trust how they play. But in the playoffs, it was Udoka who settled down the turnovers. It was Udoka who settled down guys killing the sets to take ISO shots. And he didn't always do like a flawless job. I don't think any coach does.
Yeah.
But I'm at the point now where I don't trust Tatum to do it himself. I mean, Smart is kind of too high and low to really do it.
Yeah.
And the other guys aren't really ready.
Right.
So it makes me nervous, man. It makes me nervous because now the playoff concerns we had with them are like twofold.
Yeah. I agree. It makes me nervous, but I never really attributed their success last season to Udoka, and I could be wrong about that, but I didn't as much. So I don't think that. I think their in-game adjustments, to your point, may be an issue. Some of them the turnovers, but he did that great of a job of that. They still broke the record between Brown and Tatum, still broke turnover records.
But you advanced. In previous years, you lost off those.
Right. And that is what I think will be missing. Like I said, in-game adjustments. He's someone who had a lot of playing experience with Popovich. He's somebody that has that mind to make a quick decision in the game, quick adjustment. But season-wise, I don't really think it's going to be that big of a change because I think these guys are self-motivated at this point. I think Smart is a really strong leader for them. I think they got really good additions that are also really strong-minded guys. Gallinari and
Al Horford is a good leadership guy.
Another good leadership guy. Brogdon and Gallinari have so much experience. It's just, I think. Oh no, did they get Gallinari or is he not getting traded because of the injury?
No, he got hurt after the trade playing for FIBA.
Yeah, okay. But so yeah, they got guys who have played a lot of time all over the world. They're gonna be fine. I think season wise they'll probably be finished as good as they would have.
And it's just funny because, like, we're pretty confident, but what if they are a disaster? And what if they come out and are horrible without, this is a long shot. But now that cloud is going to be hanging over you all year to whether are you going to now sacrifice your morals to bring him back because you look horrible without him? Or do you still double down, which you should? Like, you still have to double down and take that L, but you're going to look even worse.
Well, the thing is, they may fire him and hire somebody if that happens instead, not the other way around, They may say, well, we're not going to bring him back, but hey, Quinn Snyder, hey.
It's just every bad loss, they're going to be looking at, like, maybe you should go get, whoever, Frank Vogel.
Yeah, Vogel's a good
Vogel's
one, yeah.
chilling. A lot of guys are chilling. They're all available. You need it, clearly, because you're losing close games all the time. Your turnover problems are now causing you to lose regular season games.
Yeah.
Again, it's a long shot, thank God, but it's just a shitty situation, even if it is a small chance.
It is. It absolutely is. Absolutely is. Well, I'm looking forward to it. The season. I think this is gonna be a fun season, regardless of the drama.
Oh yeah, there's always drama. This Boston shit is the Phoenix thing. We've seen stuff like that before, but this Boston thing is something weird.
Funny, I've mostly only seen it on Chris Paul's teams. Interesting, but
you talking about the Phoenix type of drama?
Yeah. Oh, they got Shamit too. I didn't mention Shamit earlier. Other guy does kind of what Crowder does, but just not as good. Any other NBA talk?
Nah, nice to see some of the faces I haven't seen playing in a while, like Kawhi.
Yeah.
Jamal Murray's on the court, man. I love to see that.
Kawhi and John Wall, and that team with the cool new faces looks like they have a lot of chemistry already as far as like being cool with each other. The rookies look good. And like you said, Murray, I'm glad he's back. That's a team that, man, full strength. Hard to say anyone has more talent than them.
Yeah, man.
The other guys just look like they're having a good time with the new teams. Donovan Mitchell looks like he's excited. The Detroit has a lot of new faces. They look excited. So it's a good sign.
For what it's worth, the Nets look like they're moving forward competently. Like there's no. Which, by the way, another thing that makes Phoenix looks worse, that Nash and KD are more on the same page than Monty Williams and DeAndre Ayton.
That is really bad since KD was just
that makes Monty Williams look horrible.
It does, yeah.
So.
Absolutely does. Murray and DeJounte Murray and Trey have been hanging out all summer, which is cool. I mean, I'm not sure if they even knew each other before the trade, and they've had more talks than Ayton and Monty Williams. Yeah, and like you mentioned, Nash, a lot of the coaches look like they're excited and really motivated this year. It just like a good year. It has a lot of good energy around this media day. And
I agree.
Seems like it always should be like that, but it's not. It's not like that. And they said Porter is back.
I'm excited, man.
Michael Porter Jr.
I'm excited. A lot of teams look healthy, at least coming into the year, which I feel like actually hasn't been the case in a year or two. Probably because of that stretch of COVID, where the season and the schedules are all wacky. But now that we're finally back to like that steady October to June schedule, guys are getting healthier, and I'm excited.
Yep. I was gonna mention. Zion. Zion looks good.
Looks very good. Harden looks very good too.
Harden looks good. Yeah. So good start. You mentioned the Lonzo Ball injury a few times. Have you heard the new report?
Dude, I saw what Billy Donovan said.
Ball said he can't go upstairs, he can't run, he can't jump.
Yeah.
Like it's hurting off the court, which is strange. He said he's never had anything like it. So,
I mean, Billy said, obviously I don't have the quote, but it was something along the lines of like, there's a solid chance he doesn't play this year, which just fucking sucks.
it does.
Or like something like you got to be prepared for the chance that he doesn't play this year, which is a horrible. When they say that, that's just that means they have no clue how long it's going to take. Like they're at the point where they're kind of struggling to really figure out what to do at this point.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious to see if they apply to get an injury to get another roster spot. Because I mean, Rondo's out there, Kemba's gonna be out there. If they need another point guard that can handle large minutes, I don't know if Dusumo and Caruso. I don't know if they want to spend a whole year with them at the one, or Dragic. So I guess we'll see what happens with them. But
I'm kind of at the if their backcourt is healthy, I'll run it with those guys, to be honest.
Run DeRozan at the point forward like he's been doing.
Yeah. And Levine is now playing. Now you don't have to manage his minutes as carefully. So that was the biggest thing was Lonzo got hurt, and then it was Caruso, and then Levine, and then on top, you're already missing guys to start the year.
Williams.
So just Lonzo being hurt, I think their roster could overcome that.
Mm-hmm.
If we get beyond that, then it'll be a real problem.
Yep. Well, like I said, we'll see. Can't wait. I really can't wait. But that is all I have for the NBA. World Cup watch coming. I've been busy last few days, but gonna keep my eye on the World Cup for sure.
I haven't watched soccer in so long, man. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, World Cup is different. It's different, different level. You gotta watch it. Well, that's it for me, man. You got anything else?
No, man. As we get into training camp, we'll really deep dive the season previews, some of the team previews. We'll be back.
All right. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, follow us, all the good stuff, and we'll see you guys next week.